let me say it a little differently as well, that through trafficking, through internet sales, through gun show sales, when all is said and done, criminals represent 25% of the industry sales. And we get this from two sources. One, in 1999, the NAACP sued the gun industry for all the harm that was being done in their communities. It was a suit they would not be successful at because they didn't have standing to sue. They had to sue as an individual. They couldn't sue as an organization. But as part of their suit, they had an expert witness who the judge praised to the heavens for having been so thorough and clear. And she produced all of the, studies showing, that was the percentage. More telling is we have two advisors to us who worked at the AFT, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF, for 30 years. And they said to me, Eliot, the figure's closer to 30%. So it's no mystery,
Okay, so give me 30%. Right now, it requires for internet sales from a distributor. It requires a federal background check. Gun shows. If you buy a gun from a distributor at a gun show, or if you're buying somebody who has a booth at a gun show, and I'm not sure about all 50 states, but I know here in Texas, you have to go through a background check and a 3-day waiting period. I was a police officer, and I went in and bought a handgun that I was going to use for my backup from a dealer, well, not a dealer, a gun shop, and I had to go as a police officer. I had to go through a federal background check and wait a 3-day waiting period. So, unless a person who owns a firearm sells it under the table or markets it illegally under the table, which there's already laws in place for that, what other law can be written to prevent the laws that aren't being paid attention to now?
Here's the thing. Gun trafficking exists. There's no question about it. There's no question. There's the iron pipeline on the East Coast. There's all the guns that flow into... I live in Chicago now. Originally from New York, but I live in Chicago now. And all the guns that come down to the street that are used, are traced, the huge majority of them are traced to out-of-state sales. And these come from rogue dealers, and they're known. They're known, and it's a very small percentage of the dealers.
And there are already laws against that. So what other law can you write?
Well, there aren't laws against that. That's the problem.
Yes, there is.
The dealers don't have to keep inventory. There's no law for
yes,
the dealers
they do.
to keep inventory.
Yes, they do. You might want to brush up on federal gun laws, because if you are a dealer of a firearm, you have to be registered and licensed by the firearms industry. Like if I own a gun shop, I can't sell a Winchester unless I'm licensed through Winchester. I can't sell a Kimber.
Right.
If I'm a pawn shop, I have to be
firearm license,
and I have to have a firearm, and every single gun in my inventory has to be inventoried by serial number, because all of them have to be. When I buy a gun, it goes on my background check. So the guns that are being sold are already breaking the law.
It is a fact that most of the gun dealers act, and behave the way you're describing, but there are others who don't.
Okay, so what is your vision? What is your vision to stop that? I
would pass two laws, and we tried to pass them after Sandy Hook, but they couldn't get passed. One is I'd make trafficking a felony,
which it is.
I'd make straw buying a felony. And I guess I'd have a
like if I want to sell my gun to my neighbor, that would be a felony.
Well, if you sold,
if I had a gun and I sold it to my neighbor, and that we didn't go through any background checks.
If you sold your car to your neighbor, you'd have to go through some steps, right?
I'd have to sign the title over to him. Yes.
Right, and then they have to register it and so on and so forth.
To be legal to drive on the street, yes. They have to register it and get a license and then pay taxes,
These days, if you sell your gun to your neighbor, there's nothing required. You can just sell it, game over, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe some of your neighbors shouldn't have guns, and maybe some of your neighbors, use those guns or sell those guns to people who shouldn't have them. The point is that when all is said and done, through the combination of trafficking, through illegal sales, through gun shows. You mentioned that distributors have to do something. I don't know what the individual sellers at the gun shows have to do, but I do know many people have gone in, and said I can't pass a background check, and they've been able to buy a gun.
And have those guns been used? Has those guns been used in crimes later? And can you reference when that has happened? Can you give me a link to where that has happened in the case?
I certainly could not trace a gun back to the gun dealer that sold it without a background
No, not
check.
tracing. I mean, you just said that you have an example of somebody that's walked into a gun show and said, "Hey, I can't pass a background check. I'll give you."
I can give you a very, stirring example. Colin Goodard, one of the students that was shot seriously at the Virginia Tech massacre and survived, and is now very active trying to get sane gun laws passed. He went undercover at a gun show, and he has a video, and I'll be glad to have him send it to you. It's a video.
Do you have a link to that video?
Purchasing guns. I think it's called Live for 32 or something like that. Purchasing guns, with saying, "Look, I can't pass a background check," and being able to buy anything he wants, without any issue. So yes, there's hard proof, and other people have done.
And what state was that in? What state was that?
Sorry, Mike. I'm sorry, I lost you.
What state was that in, where he was able to do that? Because I know in Texas he wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, I think it was Virginia, but I'd have to double or triple check. He lived in Virginia at the time, but let me hold on. I'm going to make a note, and we'll get you a copy of the video.
And if you have contact with him, I'd love to have him on the show if he'd come on.
Oh, I have enormous contact with him. When we first started National Gun Victims Action Council, his father, Andrew, was on our board. You have to change your boards every 2 years or so. But I can certainly reach out to Colin for the two issues. One, I think it would be good. I think actually coming on your show would be great, and he could describe exactly his experiences, because he goes around to colleges, or to communities, and shows this video and talks about it, because we all want on our side to close the gun show loophole, and to close the internet loophole. And why wouldn't we do that? Why would you be opposed to that? And you might not be, by the way, but there's tremendous opposition.
Well, see, where I have a problem, and I'll tell you where I have a problem. In a country of individual sovereignty, which we are, and again, this is a whole other wormhole I don't have time to go down today, but of a country that is based on individual sovereignty, and what the sensible gun laws and these things that I see that are coming up from the anti-gun side are basically laws that want to tell the future based on something that happened to somebody else, and if it fits a certain criteria, then somebody can be red flagged. And it says in the Second Amendment, shall not be infringed. And the difference between the automobile that has to be registered and the difference between other things that you have to register, those things require training because they are privileges. They're not rights. Now, that would be the same as saying that you have to go get a license to speak your mind. That would say that you have to go, that if the police show up at your door, you would have to go through a class before you can refuse them to come in and search without a warrant. Those are all rights that we have, and this is one of the rights that we have. And it says, shall not be infringed. And when you start going down the slippery slope of trying to tell a person's future based on a very small population of these things that are slipping through the cracks. And again, if I'm a gun dealer, I'm going to do diligence, but that needs to be an individual choice. And that means you need to the individual sovereignty. Does that make sense?
Well, let me respond with two things.
Hold on to your thoughts. We're up against a hard break. I want to hear your response.
Okay.
Hold on to that response.
A good thing to come back to.
I just looked at the clock, and it's 10:40, so we got a break. And guys, okay, I know I told everybody that we'd have an open call on the third segment. However, I still have a couple more questions before we open up the lines. We might have to bleed into the third hour if Mr. Fineman wants to stay. So hold all your calls until I tell you, and we'll be right back after these messages. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Armed Radio Global Network, and you are on the air.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Savino Wine Preservation System is wine preservation glassware. Savino is an easy-to-use wine preservation system that allows you to enjoy your favorite wines anytime without waiting for an occasion. Open any bottle with confidence, knowing that you can enjoy the full original flavor of Tuesday's wine on Saturday. For more information, visit us at www.savinowine.com. Today's wine, tomorrow.
Ever have a computer issue that you can't figure out? Is your computer running slow, locking up, or giving you the blue screen of death? Now you have a store that not only can diagnose your rig, but if needed, upgrade that tired old workhorse. Centex Computers in Hutto is equipped not only to fix your computer, but give you an honest analysis of what needs to be fixed. Let's face it, your home computer is not only convenient, it's essential for your home or your office to stay in touch in this new virtual world. Now you have a place to take your computer for honest and reliable service. Visit www.centexcomputers.com for locations and times. Centex Computers Hutto is the official computer experts for On the Air with Mike Allen.
Night Talk with Joe Rocks. 10 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays, is now on Ustream TV. Spreaker for replays and live. On Live 365 exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Armed Radio Global presents its new 2015 Talk at Night lineup.
Mondays 8 p.m. Eastern, Spot On with Lino and Tom.
Straight Talk with Matt Hazley. Mondays and Fridays 10 p.m. Eastern.
On Tuesdays, Talk Time with Val 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by High Five at 10 p.m. Eastern with Johnny and Mikey.
Wednesdays on the air with Mike Allen 10 p.m. EST, and Thursdays Night Talk with Joe Rocks 10 p.m. Eastern.
Join the talk now on Ustream TV. Replays on Spreaker, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm Mike Allen. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Ring Central, who's also brings us the 1-800 number. You're going to need it now. Write it down, and when I give you the go-ahead, go ahead and give us a call. It's 1-866-225-5401. You can tweet us at ArmedRadio1. Hashtag it Armed Radio. That way it'll show up on my feed, and I don't have to